This is big. This is a big deal. You guys remember Amber Rose? She's the one who
Yes.
Amber Rose from the Slut Walk. I love this clip. This gives me hope that some people here and there in Hollywood are waking up.
A lot of people were shocked with your, endorsement of Donald Trump. I mean, you're all about women's rights issues. I mean, what was the reason for the big change?
Is Donald Trump not for women's rights issues?
I mean, I guess a lot of people.
All right, Amber.
America great again.
This is like, I'm gonna rewind this because whoever is asking her questions is like is pretty retarded.
People were shocked with your endorsement of Donald Trump. I mean, you're all about women's rights issues. I mean, what was the reason for the big change?
Is Donald Trump not for women's rights issues?
I mean, I guess a lot of
she has no response to that.
She's
people
like,
are
trying to make America great again. That's for women too, right?
That's true. I mean,
okay, so there you go.
I know. Does him getting convicted like change the way you view him?
Not at all.
I mean, do you think it'll help his chances like getting like reelected, or like you'll hurt
I think it helps him more.
I think it helps him more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people see the injustice and what happened, and they want to vote for him more than ever.
I know. I wanted to ask you. So it seems like a lot of celebrities are kind of like voting for Trump now. I mean, why do you think people are kind of like changing their way of like?
I think we just did our research, and we're just, we're not brainwashed anymore by the left. I can say that about myself. All these years I've been brainwashed, and I'm not anymore. So,
Woo! I love that. Woo! Good for you, Amber Rose. Holy fuck. It's like, because she was with Kanye, right? It's like if Kanye weren't mentally,
Sorry.
It's all right. I love the joke. If Kanye weren't mentally ill and could get his ideas out in a cohesive way without that, it's almost like she's maybe speaking what he would have said. That, that's nice. I thought that was a very poignant way to speak. I didn't expect that. Good for you, Amber.
Unlike the person like asking the question, I can't stand people. Well, I mean, I mean. It's such a terrible crutch like phrase, as well as her saying, well, no, I don't know. Can you ask the question and stop interjecting and adding these extra stupid little
and she's
crutches because you don't know what you're talking about?
Speaking with any authority. She should come with examples. Like if you are really going to make the claim that Donald Trump is not for women's rights, then have some kind of claim to back that up.
Back it up, dummy. She went, well, does that mean you aren't for women's rights? She was like, no. What do you mean? She was like, anyway, beep, 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 doo-dee-dee-dee-dee. And then she's like, okay, well, all right, here we are. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm Amber Rose. Thanks.
It's good to see this happening with Amber Rose because it's, remember Cardi B? Cardi B was interviewing Joe Biden, way back? Yeah, last election cycle. God, it seems like so much longer ago than 4 years. But
yeah.
And she kind of woke up.
Didn't she rant about like, where the heck is my money going?
Yep. Yep.
Rant, like, where's my money? And she's like ranting. I don't know if it was during the interview. It was just like she's ranting on Instagram or something like that. I think I remember that.
Yeah. Also, Nicki Minaj kind of turned around. When didn't she say like maybe her cousin had some sort of vaccine complication? Maybe that's what she was kind of awake on. But it is nice to see more and more of these celebrities.
I wonder how many of them actually secretly vote for Trump. Like, they can't be all that hive mind about it. Like, they know they probably have to put on the show because that's the current thing is to hate him.
Yeah.
But they've got to be secretly voting for him at the ballot because they've got to see like what's happening under Biden.
This guy that I interviewed, his name's Adam Yenzer. We interned together at Conan. And then I told him this. I was like, Adam, I've always been a little bit jealous of you because I've watched his career since we were interns together. And he is what I thought I always wanted for myself. Like he worked at Conan finally. Then he worked for Ellen for 10 years as a writer. And he worked at like, I think Maury Povich show too. Like he always had these like mainstream comedy writing jobs. And then I do this interview with him and it's like, he's got like very few followers. Nobody knows who he is. He's like I guess he's a decent stand-up, although I haven't really heard a full set. I've just seen like clips, but I was like, wow, this is what I was jealous of. And now it was funny. He blatantly said like Alex Stein should not be doing stand-up. Like I could tell he was jealous, but it's this thing that a lot of these stand-ups have to kind of shake off. It's like what we talk about Keanu and Gino, like the new model versus the old model of sort of making it in comedy. Old model used to be if you were a good stand-up, you would make it. You would get a late night spot, you would get a sitcom,
and that'd be your ticket.
yeah, you'd get a manager, you'd
Exactly,
have a fully booked schedule. And now it's like, no, you could have 1 million followers on TikTok. You could be what's the girl that I always make? I think her name is like Pinky Patel or something. She's this Indian chick who management picked her up and was basically like, can you do something on stage for an hour that we can sell tickets to? And she figured it out, like come up with some kind of act. And the clubs are happy to have you because you sell tickets. They don't necessarily care if you're like a perfect trad stand-up comic. Whereas this guy Adam is kind of like, he's upset that someone like Alex Stein goes viral multiple times a year,
and they'll give him a spot on the stage. I don't hate on it. I mean, when he asks, what was the last thing he did at Hyenas? He asked the black guy in the audience to wash his feet.
Yeah. Well, his prerogative is to honestly, like, he'd rather go viral and get that kind of attention than like be known, I think, for his like really great because he has his hand in so many pots. He does so many things.
I kind of stand for do I think he's like, the best stand-up ever? But he has some pretty good jokes. He has a stage presence and he doesn't give a fuck.
No,
that's good for stand-up.
And
if you look at like fucking Hannah Berner was on Summer House on Bravo. That's where she got her start.
Wow,
she's a very successful comic right now, like blown up and made it out because she was funny on Summer House on Bravo. She, sells out places. Yeah. So it's definitely the new model.
But what Adam was saying to me that he has been conservative the whole time. I'm like, really? Even when you worked for Ellen, like even when you worked in all these mainstream media jobs? And he said, yeah, like a lot of people will come up to me and be like, hey, I totally agree with you, but they would never be outspoken about it. And he was telling me about this time that he was writing monologue jokes for Ellen. He was writing the script and they had to reference for some reason the Kavanaugh and Dr. Christine, what was her name? Christine Blasey Ford, the whole what was it called? The I guess it was when they were just trying to get him in, and there was this whole like Me Too case basically, and he referenced the Mueller report, and it was a part of the Mueller report where it proves that like Trump was not guilty of something. It was facts, straight up actual real facts that he put in this script, this comedy script, and the head producer was like, no, I don't want that in there. And Adam was like, but this is an actual fact. Like Trump was not guilty of this. He's like, sorry, too bad. I just don't want it in there. And it was such a perfect example of like gatekeeping this leftist narrative that like, even if it's true, sorry, we don't want it in the script, even for joke purposes. Yeah. I was like, that is A, what I always thought went on, but B, like just
we don't want Ellen saying that.
No. Yeah, and that's so true. Yeah. I experienced that when I worked at Now This. I was doing just like basic stuff, like one of them, like just more lifestyle things. I wasn't in the politics angle, but this was all during the 2016 election period. So they were just like raging hard on leftist shit. So when I had to post something about like marijuana, like one of them, they're like, I had this whole script written and I like showed it, and it was a kind of like a per capita smoking and whatever in a state thing. And my manager changed it to if you smoke weed, you're probably voting for you're voting for Hillary. And I was like, but like what I had, I was like, oh well, that I said, I guess. I said, but I was actually just going for in this angle. No, we want to be pushing this. Like they were always fixing that, always changing. Oh, you need to have this. I had and then I also ran the booze vertical. There was a drink that we had, candidate drink styles. Like we had a Trump drink and we had a Hillary drink and whatever.
Was the Trump drink orange?
It was like a bourbon like an orange bourbon thing, and it was really good. Yeah, I remember like I went to have to post that, and it was like after the election. They're like, it's too sensitive. We don't want posting that right now. Like it was clear. Like I know these are really like weak examples, but there were some heavy things like you just explained with your friend, like that. It was just constant. And, like I had to keep my mouth shut.
Identity
Like,
politics.
It's your job. You're like, all right, well, I guess I'll throw that idea out anyway. I guess.
But no, that stuff's true. And then after that election, it was great. They were literally they were like, you guys need to take off. You guys can take off if you need to. Like if
No
you know,
way.
after this, it's been really hard. And I totally lied. And I was just like, yeah, my mom isn't doing well from the election. So is it okay to go up there? Yeah. And then all I did was just take the day off, and I went to Aunt's house, and we hung out in the pool all day. It was great. Taking advantage of it.
That is so
you may as well take advantage of it.
They literally gave you a Trump one.
There was an all hands meeting the next day.
Wow.
Everybody, there were people like upset. It was like I was like, this is
and
nuts.
Which company was this?
It's called Now This.
Now This.
Yeah. They were man. But it like I witnessed that, and it's real. It was so real, and the way that they just push. And you couldn't source other places. You can only source Reuters or anything like all these heavy left-leaning publications, and you couldn't, think outside the box. It had to be within their leftist thing. Even something like booze and weed. I was just like, you're making this not fun anymore.
You're not even writing political articles. You're like, I'm just talking about a drink. I'm doing very light stuff. Like, is it really going to influence or like upset anybody? Like,
no, they wanted to influence. Wow. They wanted to be that friend that can, their whole thing was that we're the news people, but the way we format is like, we're your best friend, telling you the juice. And it was, like that kind of angle. And so it's like, oh, so you're the friend that convinces your other friends to vote left, and if you don't, you're not their friend anymore, because that's the impression I'm getting.
So much. Yeah. The whole of like vote for Biden or you're not black, vote for Hillary or you're not black, and like the right is guilty of being divisive as well, but in a different way. It's kind of like like the conservative Christians and the regular conservatives are like at each other's throat, like, oh, you're not a good enough. Like it's to a weaker extent, I guess. The divisiveness. They won't say like, oh, you can't vote for Trump, or like you better vote for Trump, or you're not a redneck, or like, hey, you're not a Catholic. I don't know.
It's true.
Wow. Yeah. It's like, oh, we're gonna kick you out of the club if you don't vote Democrat, vote blue, no matter who, right?
They were also like, if you weren't as vocal about things that were left leaning, like I kept my mouth shut because I realized like any of my off-color jokes too, they did not like at all.
You're like,
so
oh my God.
I just was just like, okay, like I could tell I just was not liked at all. Like they definitely could sniff out that I just wasn't this like uber liberal person.
Every time you turn something in where they like, now this with me.
Yeah, this is a great example. You're not right wing if you don't support Dave Rubin buying babies.
Oh yeah.
He did. He bought
human trafficking.
Hunter, what if this year's election ends in a tie?
Some more.
We'll draw straws. Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.